玩游戏学中文。今天我们要一起来看免费 DIY 桌游的5种不同玩法哦。
Hello， 我是小猪阿姨。在我的 YouTube 每支影片结束后，我都会附上一个免费的小游戏，让大家看完影片之后可以继续玩。那在我的图书馆这支影片里面，我附的游戏是免费 DIY 桌游小图书馆。只要到影片说明区点开连结，下载 PDF 档，再把 PDF 档印成 A4 的彩色列印单面的图档，就可以来做小图书馆这个桌游。那制作方法也超级无敌简单，我有做了一个小短片，可以跟着这个小短片一起和小朋友或者是你的学生做出这个桌游。那我们今天这支影片就是要来介绍这个 DIY 桌游小图书馆。
我们先来看看小图书馆的内容物，打开来，里面有一张规则说明书，还有20张大图卡跟60张小字卡。每张大图卡都长得有点不太一样，但是上面都有10个图书馆常见的东西。因为列印的关系，这个吊灯长得有点像通马桶的，但是仔细看它下面是有灯泡的。小卡有3种不同的难度，所以玩的时候可以选适合自己难度的卡，有最简单的图卡到中等的字词卡跟最进阶的字义卡。
再来我会示范小图书馆的5种不同玩法。因为我身边没有会说中文的人，所以今天的示范影片大部分都会是用英文来示范，不过我会另外加中文字幕上去。好，我们开始玩吧。
拿走大卡的玩法跟规则说明书上写的一样，先把大张的卡片平放在桌子中间，再把小卡片放旁边。大家轮流翻开小卡片，接着找找看小卡片的东西出现在哪张大卡片上，找到之后要用手比出那个东西，嘴巴也要说出那样东西。最快做到的人就可以拿走那张大卡片。游戏结束后，拿到最多大卡片的人就赢了。
No, picture book.
Picture book.
Yay! 玩法。Barcode scanner.
I always confuse it with a hair dryer. 蜡摆设场 is this one?
Yes. Pendant light.
Pendant light, right. What's
Forget.
Shelves here.
Okay.
Bookshelf.
Computer. Thank you.
Sorry, too.
The last one.
Yours.
Come
on. I got 5. All these are yours.
Yes.
1、2、3。4、5。
Anna, Leo, Tria, Tesla, Panda, X, After, Actor, Anya.
找一样的大卡玩法是先把大张的卡片平均发给玩游戏的人，接下来大家一起猜拳，猜赢的人可以放一张大卡在中间。再来，我们不用按照顺序，只要玩家看到手上的第一张卡跟桌子上的卡有一样的图案，就可以把卡片赶快放到中间，然后念出来是哪个图案一样。最快把手上的卡出完的人就赢了。
Paper, scissors, stone.
Okay, you can.
Computer.
Barcode scanner. Chair.
Come on. You said we don't play.
Kate.
Kid.
Kate.
Out. Third book.
First book. Wi-Fi.
Barcode.
Oh,
You're
I.
out.
Okay, you.
I let you put it.
Okay, you can.
You can put it. Come on.
I don't mind.
Yeah, you check the next ones. Come on. Barcode. You're late. Barcode again.
Chair.
You're late.
Chair. Oh.
Oh no, I don't have chair.
Chair. Pen.
Yeah, you have all the cards with the pen. I have 3 more. Computer. Book. No. Book. A dictionary. Library.
Okay.
谢谢，非常谢谢你。
记忆小卡是先拿几组成对的小卡片盖起来放在桌上，接下来大家轮流翻牌。如果翻到一样的牌，那个人就可以拿走那对牌。如果翻出来的牌是不成对的，就要把牌盖起来，换下一个人翻牌。最后拿到最多对小卡的人就获胜。
I already forgot to open. Oh. For the wings. Oh, I know this. Yay!
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
You picked that one before.
Oh,
so lucky.
Wi-Fi.
Can I?
Yes, you can. It's not here, so 2 of them.
我的电话号码是
Oh, no.
Is it this one? I forgot. That was the Wi-Fi.
I'll leave it for...
You know, pick it. It's unfair. Since you know, pick it. Don't play it.
I also know.
Yeah.
I got
I
it
should
too.
have got it. I wasn't sure. I thought it might be this, but I think that's the one, isn't it?
Yes.
Because it was too long.
Yeah. So this is mine.
Oh,
Yay.
how come it was correct?
We are even.
你说我猜的玩法是一个人拿一张小卡起来，不可以看是什么，把它放到额头上。另外一个人要给这个人提示，但是提示的时候不可以讲到关键字，例如这一张无线网路就不可以讲到无线网路这4个字。给好提示之后，另外一个人猜到答案就得分。
So we look for words in that.
Words in that
Yes.
dictionary.
Yes.
Yay!
Yeah.
It's your
Is it
turn.
my turn? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to put it on my forehead. Is
Yeah. So I can't say anything about the name, right?
it? Yeah. How about the use?
Something for children to learn and something parents read.
The bird's book.
Yeah,
Okay.
picture book.
Picture
Correct.
book. I see. We both had the book.
Yeah, okay. And hey, you can see.
Yeah, we can send you. Didn't see yours. I can explain.
Okay. I can't
Yeah, you
speak.
can't speak. Just move your hand.
这个游戏也有变换玩法，玩家可以用笔的给对方提示。
Is it drawing on the board? Is it the stapler? What's that? Show it again. What is it? The bars? The barcode?
Yes.
The barcode scanner or the barcode? The barcode itself.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Marker.
No, quite close. I can't speak.
Keys.
Yes.
Yay!
小卡接龙的玩法是先找出字词、字义还有图片3个一组的小卡片，再把这些卡片平均的分给玩家。接着每个人轮流出一张牌放到中间，如果是字词、字义或是图案相同的卡就放在同一排，如果是不一样的卡就放在另外一排。当玩家集满3种一样意思的卡，他就可以把那一整排拿走。所有的小卡都出完之后，拿到最多牌的那个玩家就获胜。
Is this for here?
Yeah, you got the roll. Congratulations.
I have to check and be careful. Is this? No, it's not this.
Very similar.
But how about this?
Another roll.
The roll. It's like you're passing me for a goal.
Because I'm your Chinese teacher, I'm teaching you.
That's an excuse.
I'm trying to make the task easier for you. Oh, something went wrong. Check again.
It's here.
Yeah. This is mine.
Okay. Thank you.
Take it. No problem.
Why not take it?
Because I will take this roll later.
Okay, you could take this one. Let me put this one down and take this one as well.
Oh.
Because you had it.
I didn't know. Okay. 以上就是桌游小图书馆的5种不同玩法。虽然这个桌游看起来很简陋，是用回收的纸板 DIY 做出来的，但其实这5个玩法里面可以增加小朋友一些很关键的学习能力哦。
因为这主要是一个学中文的桌游，所以这5种游戏里面都会分别增加小朋友的口说和阅读能力。在你说我猜这个游戏里面需要听懂对方的口语提示，所以在玩游戏的时候，小朋友也可以增加到中文的听觉理解能力。那记忆小卡这个游戏很明显的就是帮助小朋友练习短期记忆力。第1、第2跟第5个游戏可以帮助小朋友练习视觉搜寻能力，这对学中文来说非常重要，因为中文有独特的笔画跟方向，所以如果小朋友有好的视觉搜寻能力，在以后练习写中文字或者是阅读文章的时候都会有帮助。另外，和别人一起玩桌游的时候，也会练习到社会互动能力。小朋友不一定要照着小图书馆里面附的说明书来玩这个桌游，它还可以有另外其他的玩法。那这也可以告诉小朋友，我们可以跳脱框架的去思考事情。最后，在玩小卡接龙的时候，小朋友要去想怎么样出牌才能得到最多的卡片，才能有最大化的结果，所以这也是一个策略的游戏。这就是今天桌游小图书馆的介绍影片，我会另外把桌游下载点跟怎么制作这个 DIY 桌游的影片都放在这支影片的说明区。那如果你很喜欢这类亲子的 DIY 游戏，或者是很好玩的中文学习材料，那可以订阅我的 Patreon 哦。最后请帮我按赞、订阅、分享，拜拜，
拜拜。